Hey guys, so today I'm going to be walking you through the literature review process and the library's role in how we can help you to create them and to even get them published. So let's get started. All right, so nowadays, most doctors, will be required to undertake a literature review at some point, either as part of a course of a study, just kind of something that, you do out in your clinical years, or even, when you're out in the field, kind of thinking about, policy development and, other such things. So a lot of novice researchers, can often see this as a difficult undertaking. I mean, it demands a complex range of skills, such as learning how to define topics for exploration, actual searching in the literature, retrieving articles, and then, also developing the ability to analyze and synthesize data, along with reporting and actually kind of interpreting what you find. And all of this is usually kind of done within a limited time scale. So basically, what I kind of want to do is just kind of break stuff down a little bit and kind of, just show you some of the different literature reviews that you're going to find mostly in medicine. Again, as I said, the library's role, in helping you, and some of the resources that you're going to probably need to get better acquainted with when you guys are undertaking this. So basically, what is a literature review? I won't read all of this to you, but the reasons really for undertaking a literature review are numerous, and again, it's a really important part of evidence-based care. So So as you can see here, basically, I put up 3 different types of literature reviews that you probably have come across, at least in your undergrad, if you've ever had to take a rudimentary, like just literature research class. So critical reviews, those tend to, be, as you can see there, single text, so 1 or 2, books and stuff is really kind of referenced. This, for lack of a better, word, guys, is your book report. And most of the time, it's really just, you're supposed to, again, evaluate kind of that singular text. Now, annotated bibliographies, those tend to, be just that, a bibliography. So those tend to be several different sources on a particular subject. Outside of, writing to, the subject that you've been researching yourself, you also actually, critically review each of the texts and stuff in an annotated bibliography. And those are actually really, really useful, especially if, you're like, say, a history nerd like myself. If I am taking on a project about, I want to find primary sources on the bubonic plague. If somebody has written an annotated bibliography where they've already, gone and evaluated a lot of these key seminal texts for me, it's really going to help kind of streamline the research process. And then we have, your literature review, and those tend to be multiple texts, as you can see there. And the purpose is to really, again, evaluate research on a specific topic. So, excuse me, guys, as I go through my notes. All right. So basically, almost all literature reviews are going to ask you the questions that I've put up there that you can see. What has been established, discredited, and accepted in your field about this particular topic? Perhaps some areas of controversy or conflict, problems or issues, and all of this pretty much, like, the review process of a literature review is, to, again, not only just create a summary of these relevant sources, but to evaluate that. And one of the most important things in medicine is, just because of this constant ever-changing nature, where, topics that have been held to be true for decades can be deemed obsolete in the course of 6 months. Medicine is always changing. So it's really important to make sure that in a literature review, you are adding a component of, I guess, of newness, of context, of originality to what you're reporting. So as you can just kind of see there, so in reviewing the literature, not only do you need to engage with the body of literature, you also need to be able to compare, contrast, synthesize, and make arguments with that literature in ways that indicate a readiness to contribute to the literature itself. All right, so I kind of have a limited amount of time with you guys. So one of the things that I definitely just wanted to talk about, here outside of just, what is a literature review are the different types that you're going to find in medical school. So I am going to really just talk about the big three. There are probably, I think, about 17 different types of literature reviews, honestly, like in medicine, but the ones that I'm going to talk about right now tend to be just, I think, kind of the ones that are good introduction into all of this stuff. And we can definitely go into more detail with the other ones at a later date. All right, so as you can see here, I just kind of brought up a table. And one of the first ones that I'm going to mention is, of course, just the traditional or narrative literature review. So this is the type of review that critiques and summarizes a body of literature and then draws conclusions about the topic in question. Very standard, run of the mill, that's really what a giant chunk of basically the literature is in most fields of study. So the body of literature, as I said, is made up of relevant studies and knowledge that address this particular subject area. It's typically selective of the material that it uses, although the criteria, can vary kind of depending on, basically what sources are available. Excuse me. So this type of review is useful in kind of gathering together a volume of literature in a specific subject area, summarizing and synthesizing the same thing. And its primary purpose is really to just provide the reader with a comprehensive background for understanding the current knowledge of this particular topic, as well as, if there is an opportunity to kind of highlight the significance of maybe new research that's out there. So it can inspire research ideas by identifying, gaps or inconsistencies in a already kind of established body of knowledge. And thus this really kind of helps the researcher to determine or define research questions or hypotheses. And, all literature reviews are going to need to start with a good research question. But again, these are the ones that still can be sort of broad and generalized. Next, we have what is called a systematic literature review. And so in contrast to a traditional narrative review, systematic reviews employ a much more rigorous and well-defined approach to reviewing the literature in a specific subject area. So systematic reviews are, used to answer really well-focused questions about clinical practice. They are also very, very heavily regulated. Because of, this, systematic reviews are kind of considered like one of the gold standards of literature reviews. This is because usually in order to conduct a systematic review, you are going to go out and find every single piece of literature on this particular subject. That includes, books, that includes gray literature, that includes government documents, that includes a poster that a medical student might have made 5 years ago and then decided to never pursue anything further with that particular, piece of, I guess, of research. So systematic reviews are very, very lengthy and time consuming, but because of the fact that they really do try to collect everything, you have this amazing, piece of synthesized information that has been vetted and, so the standard is very, very high for that. And so in order, as I said, just for the reader to assess the reliability and the validity of the review, there is some really heavy criteria that needs to be met for this. There is the PRISMA checklist along with, the Cochrane database that really kind of has a very, very set amount of guidelines for inclusion, exclusion criteria, for the quality of the literature that is selected, and basically for the analysis and the decimation of the findings. So unlike traditional reviews, the purpose of a systematic review is to provide a complete as list as possible of all the published and unpublished studies related to this particular subject area. So basically, while your traditional reviews attempt to summarize the results of a number of studies, systematic reviews use explicit and rigorous criteria to critically evaluate and synthesize everything in this topic. And lastly, I'm going to go on ahead and also talk about scoping reviews. Now, scoping reviews tend to kind of be in the middle between your basic run-of-the-mill literature review and your systematic review. Now, scoping reviews, those tend to kind of focus a little bit more on new research that doesn't particularly have a lot of studies that are out there, along with, say, rare diseases. So if you are looking to write about a zebra instead of a horse, this is a great type of review because it pretty much is a it's really kind of one of those things that is meant to put a scope on new and upcoming trends in medicine. So, all right. So now that I've kind of talked a little bit about like what type of reviews and stuff are out there, where do you guys even start? Well, so some of the resources that I definitely wanted to, highlight is, at the library, if you go to FRAML, in fact, I will share my screen and try to, does it go to the library webpage right now? So, all right. So, sorry, again, multitasking, too many open tabs. All right, so we're going to go to the Find Databases page on FRAML. So guys, we've already populated a lot of like really fantastic, databases for you guys. You guys can also use the library's discovery service itself in order to look for, journals and articles. But a couple of the ones I really do kind of want to highlight for you is, of course, PubMed. Now, PubMed and, Medline, which is going to be, a very useful tool, is basically the government, it's a government-owned website. You guys can pretty much access this from Google. You can access it no matter, I guess if you have library access or not. This is a public website. As to the breadth of the collection that you'll be able to access, that's kind of going to vary depending on, what hospital you're currently working with and I guess the different type of subscriptions that they have. But pretty much, guys, as I've said, in EBM and various other stuff, is PubMed is the largest depository of medical articles in the world. I think that it does something like, it updates close to 25,000 papers a week. So it is a gigantic, as I said, database for searching, for medical literature. And again, I'm always going to like highlight, I think you guys must think I'm a broken record at this point, but while you are here at RVU and you guys are students, if you want to access it and really get the most bang for your buck, please access it from the library's webpage, just like you saw me do here on PubMed. If you click it, as you can see there, it will highlight Colorado RVU Lib, as you can see. And again, this is synonymous for both, campuses. Everything that is in the library's collection that we have paid subscriptions to, it will populate that way. So when you are searching in their literature, if you come on through that page, it'll kind of save you time to like wonder whether or not you can get this through the library. If you do it that way, it'll let you know. It'll say text available at RVU through RVU library. All right, so next up is which you can see here is the Cochrane databases. And these aren't in the popular section, but you can see them highlighted right here in the C. So we subscribe to the Cochrane Register of Control Trials, clinical answers, the database of systematic reviews, and the methodology register. Now, when I was talking about systematic reviews a little while ago, I was telling you that, Cochrane is one of those kind of giant Leviathan medical institutions that helps to publish systematic reviews. So if you are looking again for to see if there's a systematic review already out on the subject that you want to look at, or if you're interested in randomized control trials or anything like that, these guys are giants in the industry. So if you're looking for, good information that is definitely reliable and has been heavily vetted, you can't really go wrong with Cochrane. That's a really nice place to start. So again, just use the library website and the proxy, and you will be able to look for topics of your choice. I'm just gonna be super generic and just do Crohn's disease and nutrition. So we've got 17 systematic reviews based on, that particular topic, growth failure, and everything like that. So again, these are great jumping off points for that. And then also, I'm going to say, the BMG case reports, that's another kind of good thing, especially if you're looking for kind of more rare or less published studies, along with, let's see, good old Clinical Key, which is also one of the popular ones. And Clinical Key is a repository that you're going to find everything from articles to book chapters to interactive videos there is a ton of information on here. Drug monographs, you can't really, go wrong. So as I said, the library has a really fantastic collection of resources for you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that particular part of the screen. So sorry guys, it's really fun having to constantly switch back with that. So, all right. So kind of, going back to that, outside of those databases that I just showed you, top journals in your field or the area interest of study. And then I'm going to, also disclaim one of the best resources that you have is the library. Not only, do we have just, as I said, like all of these online resources for you, but many of your librarians are happy to help. Myself, more than included in that. In fact, I am, here for you guys. A good chunk of my job description is helping to assist you guys with some of these more advanced searches, with pulling articles. If you find that, the library doesn't have access to something that you need, all that it would take is an email to me, and I'm able to see if I can get those resources for you. And I'm, happy to pretty much help in whatever capacity I am. So please use your friendly neighborhood librarians too, because we are here to assist you. All right, so kind of one of the questions that I just kind of wanted to get out of the way, too, when people ask me, about literature reviews is, do you need a sponsor? And so, yes, you are going to need one. Every research project at RVU, no matter, if it's a wet lab, one, or a literature review, is going to need a faculty sponsor. So please make sure that you do that. The Office of Research has done an amazing job kind of reformatting, basically the research website, and there's a lot of fantastic information out there, along with forums and just basic protocol that you guys are going to need to follow. Do I need to work in a group? So I will always say, yes, it is best practice for you to partner with your peers. Why would you want to sift through all of this stuff on your own? Definitely rope in a friend. It's kind of these things that it really does help spread the workload. It helps prevent bias. And, you're really going to want to have an additional set of eyes when you guys are looking at the literature. So I also, just a couple little things that I kind of want to touch on, because I did mention them when I was talking about the different types of literature reviews, is pretty much gray literature tends to refer to reports or conference proceedings, working papers, dissertations, personal communications, technical notes, anything that you're going to find in a government database. Like, these can be incredibly useful and really, really important. The fun thing about gray literature is most of the time there isn't a comprehensive database that you can find them in. This is going to be much more specialized, and you are going to have to dig a little bit deeper. But if you can utilize gray literature, they are really a great resource. And I really recommend not shirking away from them just because you might have to work a little bit harder to get access to them. Along with, government publications are a subset of gray literature. So it's kind of one of those like SAT questions where all squiggles are squigs, but not all squigs are squiggles. All, excuse me, government publications are gray literature. And sometimes, you'll get lucky and there will be a comprehensive database where you can actually search for them. That is going to, just kind of like vary on what you're looking for and what institution, happens to have access of it. And also, I mean, not to get like terribly political, but sometimes depending on the administration, you will find that there will be certain, I guess, government departments or even presidencies, which will kind of, I guess, make information more accessible than others. So definitely, but don't be discouraged because there's some really good stuff out there. And then trade literature. This tends to refer to journals, websites, newsletters, other sources that are aimed at professionals. So much information, especially in this modern world, is not necessarily something that's going to come just from a journal article that you can just save as a PDF. So please be open to, to these other types of information. And, these can be, again, really, really valuable too. So as, stated earlier, guys, like I am the research librarian here at Rocky Vista University, and I am, I'm here to assist you guys however I can. So I always, recommend that if you guys are conducting a literature review, get in touch with a librarian. It doesn't necessarily have to be me, although I am here, to help, but not only can we really help with the building up a search strategy, making sure that you guys are utilizing the right databases, that you guys have the right search terms, that you're looking at mesh, you have a firm clinical question, all of that stuff. And we can also be that extra pair of eyes, help you pull sources, and really kind of be a vital kind of person to help with the whole strategy. So as I said, so your librarians are here to help and to assist you, because we have that specialized knowledge when it comes to finding, literature and kind of just the whole information seeking process. So yeah, so again, I will just, reiterate, we're here for you. So please, use us if you need us. Yeah, and again, just everything that I pretty much just kind of said, but in a pretty infographic that you can look at there. And so this is, again, especially like if you guys want to be one of those brave, heroic souls that wants to try to do a systematic review, because there are so many checks and balances and protocol in place for that. I would very much recommend, again, to get the library, in to assist you with this, because we can, help with, as you can see here, background searching, looking at search strategies, and really kind of, helping to identify like, databases and execution of searches and Boolean, terms and all that good stuff. All right, so I'll also just kind of briefly touch on the fact that, so you guys did all that hard work, you have shifted through all the papers, you've evaluated them, and you've written your literature review. Now it is time to submit it. So when you are submitting a manuscript, you can submit in more than one place. The key is you can only publish in one. So if you have, I always try to recommend to people, think about 3 to 5 places that you really, think would be pertinent places to publish, and submit the manuscript. You're probably going to need to tweak the manuscript a little bit depending on, what you're submitting the journal to. But different journals are going to have different requirements. So research that, and also, consider open access places, consider, a lot of those other things and stuff. But um, as far as the author fees, I also do, want to say that I am not 100% sure about what our current protocol is with the Office of Research. In the past, we have been able to at least, help with some of the author fees, although I know that we weren't always able to take on the full costs. I am not sure like what the new rules are about that, and if they have changed. That is definitely a question that I would recommend taking up with Dr. Brooks and the other fantastic people within the Department of Research. But I just again, keep in mind that in the past we have been able to at least provide some help. So that is another resource that is out and available to you guys. All right. So kind of another thing that I want to, mention too is, well, it's great to kind of think about, where you would fit for, for these journals and stuff like that too. Follow journals and listservs, because that is another fantastic kind of, way to find out like what particular, I guess, journals are asking for themed papers or having a call for papers, along with the fact of keeping in tune to conferences, flash presentations, poster presentations. Like those can be really fantastic avenues to kind of, again, bolster the research process, along with professional organizations, etc. So those are, again, avenues to really kind of to seek when you are thinking about, doing a literature review. All right, guys. And so that is pretty much what I have for you. Thanks for taking the time to listen. And if you guys can have any questions, please feel free to reach me at jfisher@rvu.edu. As I said, I am here for you guys and I'm here to help. So you take care. Bye.